Hello, everybody. I don't know who we is. I always say we. I am running on adrenaline here because today's video was supposed to be about, yes, this is an impromptu. Today's video was supposed to be how to decorate your bookshelves. How many of you have beautiful built-ins, beautiful bookshelves? Maybe they're front and center in the living room or front and center like behind you in your Zoom calls. And you look at these and they're such a focal point and you're like, who are these people that know how to decorate bookshelves? Who are these people that know how to like group the books over here, put this random object with this picture frame, and it just looks so nice and airy and organized. Every time I try to do it, it just looks like a jumbled, bundled mess. How many of you that crosses your mind? I just got back from Dallas where I had a week full of consults where that everybody had that problem. It was just some running thread that week. Every consult I had that week, they all were like, yeah, I have these major bookshelves behind me when on my Zoom calls. I don't know what to do with them. I find them intimidating. Help me. I want nothing to do with it. Can you just do it? So I heard them, I listened, and I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure a lot of people have this problem. So I created a video how to decorate your bookshelves, how to style your bookshelves. And similar to my dining room video where I took you through feng shuiing that room in the sunroom, and I took you through feng shuiing my office, I take you along with me as I do it in my office. So I love those videos because I prep for these. You're going to be seeing me look at my notes here. I prep for these. I create bullet points and I make sure I use your time wisely and valuably. But I like taking you with me as I redo my own spaces because there's things that come up along the way that I know I didn't prep for. So I'm very excited for that video. Subscribe now. Oh, so this is what happened. That was supposed to be the video for today, and the quality was terrible. I mean, like the colors were so bad, and it like sound was finally good. And we have a new mic here, so these sounds are good, but the video quality, just like all the colors were distorted, and it was so bad I could not upload it because it is actually going to be a very good video, and I didn't want the quality to be taken away from it. So subscribe now and hit the notification bell now if you're new to this channel so that next week you are alerted and ready for that video on how to style your bookshelves. It's a really good one. And I not only take you through mine, I also show you a second example for these huge, if you have huge built-ins, really tall built-ins, you don't know what to do with the top. I show you all kinds of examples. But okay, so speaking of my notes, yes, subscribe. But I think it was all fate and meant to be, and was meant to go live today because I haven't even had my matcha yet for today. So very excited because I needed it. And I woke up really early and I went to work out and haven't even had the matcha. So why not go live? What else am I going to do on a Saturday other than drink matcha and talk about feng shui? I'm always doing some with feng shui anyway, right? So, okay, now that we have that, now you know what is coming up next week. Today in this video, we are also going to be talking about, we're going to break some myths. I have a client who had some funny myths come up, and he, in his follow-up call, was like, what about this, this, and this? Like, am I going to go broke? So we're going to bust some of those myths. We're also going to talk about feng shui for your human design. I'm very excited. And again, another reason I feel this is fate, because I have been wanting to share feng shui for your human design here on YouTube, but it's kind of a lot of writing and more visual. And so anybody on my Instagram page is getting a heads up on that. So if you haven't gone to my Instagram page, Elemental Clarity, go ahead and go over there. And I've already talked about feng shui for your human design, but this is a perfect time for me to bring it up with you guys. And I'm just going to share that screen. It's really fascinating, and nobody else is talking about it because nobody else has had all these like aha epiphanies with it. And so I'm really excited to be the first one to be combining this. It's a way to get your feng shui even more specific. And I talk about how feng shui is specific to your home, when it was built, the direction it's facing, but this is a way to get it even more specific to you and your energy. So we're going to talk about that. And before we get into those things, and then I'm going to talk about how feng shui shows up. People always ask, how long does it take for feng shui results to show up? And, what does it actually look like when Feng Shui starts to work? And I've been reading Think and Grow Rich. Ed Milet's been talking about it a lot. And so I thought, I'll reread this. This has been on my list for a while. And I'm like 10 pages in. I was like, this is exactly how I want to explain Feng Shui to people. So also going to talk about that. So see, impromptu, I could be going live every day talking about this stuff. So before we get into all of that, as people pop in, I imagine a lot of people won't because I did not plan this. Type your questions in the chat. And if you have questions along the way, I'll be here as long as you guys want me to be. You can ask your questions in the chat and I will answer them. What an exciting day for everybody. Okay, so before we get into all of those bullet points, coming up is, so next week is the bookshelf video and then TBD, but in a couple weeks, a special guest, Christina Browning, she like agreed to this, but we haven't set a date yet. So now she's really committed because I'm announcing it to everybody here live. Christina Browning is going to be a special guest here on YouTube. She's a Portland, Oregon realtor and founder of Home Space and Reason, a business and also a podcast. I'm going to share screen over here. This is her Instagram page, Space and Reason. And I love her little bio. Geek out on all things home related as a realtor in purchase and sale, podcaster, home functionality coach, and blues mom. So cute. But home functionality coach is what I want you guys to focus in on here. She is anything that you guys have. I'm announcing it now because I want you to submit your questions for what bothers you about your home, what bugs you about your home, where are the problem areas in your home. Is it the drawers? Is it how to use your laundry room efficiently? Do you have like places you know could be optimized? I have somebody, this is great. She has a lot of questions about how to just like store things. So any of those questions, comment below, type them in the, well, don't type them in the chat because they might go away, but comment below on here or message me on Instagram. Any of your questions that you have that just problem areas in your home that bug you, because Christina is a genius at finding ways to use your home efficiently. Home functionality coach. Where have you ever even heard about that? I fell in love with her podcast when I listened to an episode she had about a heat map and using your home and thinking about it in terms of a heat map. We're going to get more into that in the interview. But many people think that Feng Shui consultants are home organizing geniuses and clutter clearing geniuses. And some of them do. A lot of Feng Shui consultants niche down. So some are actually organization people and really good at clearing clutter, and then they pair it with Feng Shui. That's not me. You know, I can see efficiencies and I can declutter in my own way, but my niche is more helping the motivated, the successful, and the inspired use Feng Shui to optimize all areas of their life and use it as a self-development tool. So I niche more on career success, personal development success, how you can optimize your home's energy, your energy, and just live more in flow. That's more my niche. And when it comes to decluttering, I just say watch Marie Kondo prior to working with me. I don't have a lot of tips about storage and all this. So anyway, I'm so excited for Christina to come on because she is the perfect pair to what we do or to what I do. And I love the way she explains things. And she has just thought of things that I have never even thought of. She was also a Feng Shui client of mine. So this is exciting. This is kind of like how this is how her and I got together. She was going to interview me for her podcast, Home Space and Reason. And she was like, I need to do this Feng Shui thing. I'm getting distracted by her beautiful page, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen. She was like, I need to do this Feng Shui thing before I interview you because she's very great. She's gives a really good quality podcast and she really thinks about the end user. And so she was like, I don't want to just talk and interview you. I want to go through it myself and then we'll talk about it. And so in another video, post her interview, we're going to post her before and after and her Feng Shui experience. She has this beautiful, cute home in Portland. You guys are going to love it. It's stunning. And She was one of these Feng Shui skeptics. She's a little bit more technical, practical thinking, right? Not necessarily down this whole energy route. And she my favorite line from her follow-up call, because all clients get a couple follow-up calls, her final follow-up call, she said, "I don't get it, but it works." She was like, "I don't really understand how this, like, energy stuff is, but it works." She saw, I don't wanna put words in her mouth, but, like, massive career boosts, lots of boosts, some wonderful, like, health healing energy as well. So, I'm very excited to show you guys her before and after, and also have her on here to help you guys with the more practical stuff that I'm sure you have questions on, because we all have problem areas in our home. So again, comment those questions below, and or send me a DM on Instagram for any questions you have about her. There'll be another chance if you can't think of any right now. So that is announcement number 1. And then, okay, let's get into Feng Shui for HD. Let me pull up my screen over here. Whoops. Share screen. Oh, here we go. Okay, so over on my Instagram, Feng Shui for your HD. Actually, first, here's what I would like you to do. Go to humanarchetypes.com. It's going to pull up a screen here. You're going to say not now. We're going to type in, we're going to get your human design chart. If you've never heard about human design before, human design is a complex modality. It's made up of the I Ching, which is a hexagram modality in Chinese metaphysics, the astrology. Oh my gosh, I say this all the time, but I'm okay. It's made up of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, astrology, and chakra system. So it's like combining all of these things into one to learn how to optimize your internal energy that was given to you at birth. So if you are somebody that loves like Myers-Briggs tests, any test, the 5 love languages test, any of those quizzes to help you understand yourself better, astrology, if you love astrology and you love reading about how you're a Sagittarius, you're a Leo, and this happen, and here's the best way for you to go about blank. Human design is going to blow your mind. You will never feel more understood by a system ever. And it's unique to you. And it's showing you a map of how you were made when you were born. So Myers-Briggs tests they change. They change in the moment. They change depending on how you're feeling that day and what you want to admit as you fill out that quiz. Human design, it doesn't sway. It's based on your birthday. And so we're going to get into that now on how to do it. And you're going to be so happy that you dove into this world. So you're going to go to humanarchetypes.com. And then I'm going to tell you how Feng Shui applies specifically to you and how it hones in even on your human design type. So over here, let's call it Joe. And we'll just have him born, let's put it not in the 1920s. Let's make him 1975. April 16th, 1975. You do need to know your birth time and your birthplace. Let's say, no, let's pick somewhere cooler than New York. Des Moines. How do you spell Des Moines? Des Moines, Iowa. Let's do that. Okay, so you're going to go over here. You're going to submit it. It's going to calculate, and it's going to give you your chart. And this thing is going to probably look pretty intimidating, but do not worry. Because you don't need to know all of this. Again, over on my Instagram here, I'm going to go into Feng Shui for your human design. I've created all these different guides about what you should focus on, or like how to start navigating all of this. I am no human design expert. There's plenty of, once you go down this rabbit hole, you're not going to stop. And you can look at people like I Am Eating Carpenter, my HD on Instagram. They're so phenomenal. And they're true human design readers. Where I come in is I have studied all of this and I focus on just the Feng Shui aspect. So speaking of the Feng Shui aspect, how can I make this a little smaller so you can see it in your screen? So Joe, you'll see down here, it says manifesting generator, inner authority. All of these things describe things about you. But what I want you to click on And like I said, this is an impromptu video today, so I got to remind myself. I think it's down here. Yes. So over here, you're going, like I said, you're going to come up here, you're going to look at your chart, and then I want you to click on this one. Do you see this second to bottom, or like left side, second row? Just click on it and it says environment, external markets. And this is how we add feng shui specifically to you, your human design. So cool. I get so excited about this. Like I said, nobody else is talking about this, and it is just like this wonderful flow of downloads that I have gotten. So let's also make this screen a little smaller. Feng Shui for your human design. It's going to be easier for me to look at it from this page. Then you can come over and you can see I did a whole series. There's 6 different types of environments, and these are things you can add to your space based on what you clicked on here. So this one is external markets, but you could be a valleys, you could be a caves, you could be a mountains, you could be a shores, you could be a kitchens. First, let's start with the human design arrows. So the human design arrows, you're going to go plot your chart, you're going to look at the arrows. You're going to see these 4 up here, and you're going to look at this bottom left one. The difference between these, the arrows in human design, are called the 4 transformations. They indicate ways you're meant to live in the external world. That's a really fancy way of, let's just talk about energy in your environment. And if it points to the left, it's consistent. If it points to the right, it's a variety. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to go over there and read more about it. But if you have a right-facing arrow, this means that in your space, you are more inclined to need some of these things. What you'll find with human design is a lot of it resonates and it feels really good and it feels really right, but then maybe you don't actually follow through with it in your day to day. And that's because of all of this conditioning we have. Maybe we had a parent who lived a certain way, and so we became very messy and we became very disorganized, and this is just kind of how we lived. But actually, our human design shows us that we like order, we like organization, but we never learned those skills to how to be organized. And so that's what's really cool about human design, is it kind of gets you back to knowing yourself better. And maybe you do, maybe you haven't, maybe you did always follow your gut and you were always really good at going with what you wanted, in which case you have a lot less to unlearn and relearn. For me, I have some things I had to relearn. But okay, so if your bottom left arrow is pointing to the right, let's see what our guy over here is. This is what the arrows look like on transparent matrix, or on human archetypes. This bottom arrow here for him points to the right, which would be this one. So he would like change, variety, and flexibility. So ask yourself, if you have this arrow, do you have variety in your environment? Do you work from the same office every day? Has your living room furniture been arranged the same for years? When is the last time you painted or changed the artwork in your home? When's the last time you moved even? And I go into that in this description. I get even deeper into it. But here's some things that somebody with the right facing arrow would like. Change and variety fuel your curiosity, productivity, and momentum. If this is your arrow, do your best to add some variety to your life and your space. Let me take a sip here. So if you can, instead of working from home, try working from a coffee shop. Change up the furniture in your living room. Even if at first you don't think a new setup will work, give yourself permission to let go of old artwork and treat yourself to something new, because you need variety. Variety fuels you. Variety re-energizes you. And oof, moving. This can really be scary, but are you the same person? This is a great question to ask yourself. Are you the same person you were when you moved into your home? When I moved to Dallas, I moved into this apartment and I lived there for 5 years. And it wasn't until I went through a breakup, my father passed away, I quit a job and also got let go from a job. Or no, I wasn't let go yet. Quit a job, changed jobs. It was the relationship, the father, it was all this stuff. And finally I was like, I need to move. Otherwise I would have never moved. And I was like, nowhere will be better than this. It's perfect location. But if you have that desire, and then you know what actually happened is somebody got attacked. I was literally getting ready to sign my renewal lease. I was like chickening out, like, oh, it's been 5 years. I just love this place so much. Nowhere's going to be better. Like, I'll deal with it in 6 months. I'm just going to renew for another 6 months. And I was stuck in the same. And I was like literally 9 p.m. getting ready to sign the renewal. And then I was kind of right off the parking garage. Somebody got attacked. We'll leave it at that. I heard some crazy sounds. And I was like, this is a sign from the universe. I am not meant to renew this. It was very unfortunate that like you had to hear this kind of traumatic event. But those things, if you get hit on the head, if you get in a little car accident, those things are all signs from the universe. What were you thinking about? What were you about to chicken out on, like me renewing my lease? All of these things, right? And thank goodness I did renew. I found a place even better. I loved it. It was beautiful. And that new feng shui there catapulted me to, oh my gosh, so many other things. But today we're just talking about human design. So that is for this arrow. Now let's look at, that's for the right facing arrow. Now let's look at the left facing arrow. If you have the left one, so maybe you're doing your chart while you watch this. If you have the left facing arrow, which I always forget. Well, anyway, the left facing arrow, go ahead and invest in the space and its purpose. So this is the consistent arrow. So the other one was variety. This one is consistency. Do you have consistency in your environment? Are you trying to work remotely, but you can't find a groove? Do you try to redecorate with the trends and it never feels right? Do you have a phone charger next to each seat you spend time in because it's convenient and practical? And I love this comment over here. I have a left arrow here and I totally connect with having a charger next to each seat I spend time in. I have a computer charger too. People with this arrow love, the great thing about human design is you get permission to be yourself. So what you'll find out in this post, I talked about, let me not get ahead of myself, but people like that are a little more type A and like things organized, I feel like sometimes they feel like that's wrong and they're supposed to be more loosey-goosey and they're supposed to be more creative and flowy. Absolutely not. If this is what works for you and brings efficiency and energy to your life, go with it. And human design is this wonderful thing, shows you why you're drawn to certain things, certain environments, and it brings a peace when you're like, oh, okay, I'm not weird. Like this, maybe not everybody around me feels this way, but I'm meant to feel this. So if this is your arrow, feeling grounded in your home is important. Can you guys see this? Okay. Let me do this one. Hold on one second. That's not it. How about that one? If this is your arrow, feeling grounded in your home is important for you to recharge. If this is your arrow, doing what you want and being consistent is your friend. Embrace that you enjoy having a home base. Working from coffee shops and traveling while you work may seem really appealing and Instagram popular, but you aren't boring if you have designated work time and vacation time. You aren't missing out if you work from home. Finding a space you work well in and sticking to it is a good solution for you. Designate a space for specific activities. For example, don't try to work from the kitchen and have family time in the kitchen. Don't try to meditate in the kids' playroom. Have separate places for work, rejuvenation, and family time. So if you're getting the gist here, consistency, people, consistent, compartmentalize, have designated spaces. Feel confident in investing in pieces you like and ignore the trends. So the other arrow was variety. Change it up. You don't need to be spending all this money, but maybe the pictures that are in one bathroom, you totally switch the decor or you rearrange things. Different for this arrow that faces left. Feel confident in investing in pieces that you like and ignore the trends. The consistent arrow likes structure and routine, and that doesn't make you boring. It's what you like. It's what you like. Having each space set up so you can immediately get to the task at hand, whether that's watching a movie or getting to work, saves your spirit energy. Rather than always having to search for your keys, create a space by the door. If you have virtual meetings or YouTube channel, keep your setup set up. So if you're rewatching the replay here or you're watching now, comment below which arrow do you have. Remember, over here, you'll see 4 arrows. Sometimes it does look more like this. The arrows sometimes look more like that. This arrow right here, comment below, is it pointing left or right for you? I love hearing how all of this stuff hits for people. And then I won't go into all of these right now, but because I've really written a lot. So again, over here on this second one, just click it and box is going to come up. One more time. See how it says environment, external markets. That's how you're going to find out. And I've really written like a big description here for each of them. And so specifically, this series was about Feng Shui for bedrooms and how to use your environment type. So then I shared, let's go through valleys. So many people love this one. Human design environment valleys, Feng Shui for your bedroom. For some of you, oh wait, this one is a bit harder. Oh my gosh, maybe this was a bad example. People with the valley environment are natural observers. Observe what your room is connected to. You are not the person that is more comfortable in the basement, bedroom, or in the room in the separate wing. You prefer to be at the end of a hall while still grouped with other bedrooms. For valley environments, the size of your room doesn't really matter. It can be large and expansive or smaller and narrower, but keep it unstuffed. It's better for you to have essential furniture and nothing more, so you don't overstuff with mirrors, dressers, stands, plants, artwork, and end tables. What do you only need in the bedroom? Think balanced, simple, and serene so you can hear what's going on while not bombarding your sight and sound senses. So this one is my environment, and in my experience, I've always liked living somewhere where there's a bit of background noise. Living in an apartment, I'm comforted knowing there are people around me. Too much quiet and too much seclusion, similar to the cave environment type, leaves me feeling uneasy. In a home, I don't want to be in the room that's front and center either, or totally at the end. I like to be 2 doors down or like kind of in the middle. So I want to know what's going on, and that's something that you find out more. That's how I've interpreted all of that for you guys, so you don't have to answer those questions. So you can go to your environment and learn some of these subtleties. The kitchen one, and so I gave then some examples about rooms. The kitchen one is really fun. I think it's the kitchen one. This one is about, maybe it's the markets. This one is like having a party. No, I don't know. One of them, maybe it's mountains. Okay, we're going to click one more time. Nope, I can't remember which one it is. One of these, go find out yours, is like, have you ever been in those rooms where it's like the bedroom is still somehow like the living room? They have like a party within a party. So the kids are all in there. People are all getting ready together in there. That's what I really think it's markets. That's what those kind of people love. For me as valleys, like I didn't really like a lot of people in the room. It's just a space to recharge and then leave. So it's really cool to see how different environments affect you and your specific energy. So again, go here, find your environment, come to my Instagram page. Maybe one day I'll be able to make it into a YouTube video, but it's much better to go through written, and then I'm able to give you guys visual examples, and then you can apply it to your home. Maybe you've always felt there's something missing in your home, and it is that you want more life in your home. And so maybe what you want is to have a couple chairs for your kids to come in and run around and jump around, or maybe that is the case and you're like, why don't I get good sleep? Maybe your room is too big, too busy, and so we need to take those things out. You don't like that people are running in and out of your space so much. So go dive in on that and comment below on everything that you find out and what you enjoy and what your environment. Comment below what your environment type is and if these resonate with you. I love it so much. Okay, so that was Feng Shui for HD. Let's move on. Let me make sure I hit all my notes here. Okay, the last two things here is a myth. I said I was going to debunk a myth for you today. Still running on that adrenaline. Here's a funny myth that maybe you have or have not heard from Feng Shui. My client, he reached, or like I said, we were on his follow up call, and he said, Jeanette, I have been so addicted to Feng Shui. I've been loving it ever since we've been working together. I have been reading, I have been Googling, I have bought books. And that's often what happens because when you start to see Feng Shui results, you're like so in love with it. You want to add more and more and more. But what is can kind of get you down a rabbit hole is if you are reading from too many different teachers, and a lot of people don't know there's different types of feng shui schools, and so you can start really reading contradictory information, and you can read new age stuff and old age stuff, and this is kind of the pickle he got himself into. So we went over what books he actually ordered, and this one, I think this one was the most popular for all the feng shui people I know that try to DIY it themselves. This is the one. It's Move Your Stuff, Change Your Life is the name of the book, I think. And she is a wonderful author. It's a really funny read, and she's really nice and upbeat. It is pretty much going to contradict anything I say, anything I had Chi Pro Sam on here, anything she says, anything Joey Yap says. Joey Yap is kind of like the biggest feng shui Chinese metaphysics guy. Anything, it just totally, it's a different, it's different type. And so my client, he says, I read, she tells me that if there is, by the way, he makes a ton of money. He makes a lot of money. She says in the book, if my toilet is facing a mirror, I'm going to lose all of my money. Is this true? I'm so nervous. I just got this bonus. I just got this raise. I don't want to lose all my money. Now, he is somebody who was spending a lot and shopping a lot, and he was really excited when we feng shuied and cleared some space. He wanted to immediately replace, but that is just a tendency for him. That's something we see in his human design. We see it in his Bazi, his Chinese astrology. We saw that he is just somebody that kind of likes to spend money. So none of that related. But so if your toilet is facing your mirror, will you lose all your money is the myth of the day. No. You're not going to lose all your money. I have been in many different bathrooms throughout my life. And now that I think about it, most of them are next to the mirror. But I can tell you, I have been real broke in my college bathroom, my first Dallas bathroom. And then I started making more money when I went into sales. And now my mirror actually here across, and I just had my best month yet. So no, unrelated. Feng Shui is the study of how your environment affects you. The origin of Feng Shui is based on mountains and water and true energy of a space and abundance, and like where farmers would farm so that they would get water and protection from the mountains. And that created these auspicious land areas. And then they also buried their ancestors in auspicious formations on mountains, mountains at the back, water in the front, so that they would get ancestral luck. So when Feng Shui was created, I mean, mirrors existed, but it was not, I don't think toilets did. So do not worry too much. Another thing he came across was tying red ribbons. Another myth is, should I tie red ribbons on my pipes to not lose my money either? And I don't know if that's just if your toilet's in your money area, but again, we don't have money areas in the type of feng shui I talk about. So you don't need to be, I don't think you need to have red ribbons around your toilet if it psychologically helps you save your money, or if it psychologically helps you raise your vibration and feel more rich. To tie a red ribbon around your toilet base and pipes, go for it. To each their own. Sometimes we do quirky little things or have lucky charms, and we always close a deal, or that girl agrees to go on a date with us, right? So like if you need to do a little lucky charm for yourself, awesome. If you need to trick your brain, awesome. But in terms of feng shui basics, mirror and toilet, you're fine. And the ribbon thing, it's okay. So there's your myth buster for today. And then lastly, I wanted to share this little piece with you from this book, Think and Grow Rich. Ed Milet. I'm a big Napoleon Hill fan. The Science of Getting Rich was not Napoleon Hill. I meant Outwitting the Devil. Wonderful book about how to overcome fear. And you don't necessarily have to be religious per se. I mean, they do talk about like God and the devil. So if that really bothers you to use that terminology, you're not going to like the book. But if you want to look at it as more just positive energy, negative energy, if you've been in a really fearful state, Outwitting the Devil is hands down the most phenomenal book ever. Another not coincidence that I will share with you. That day I was going to work. The book came in that day I was going to work, and Instagram was down. And a lot of my work is uploading on YouTube, creating Instagram posts. Instagram was down. I couldn't do everything I had planned for that day. I was like, this is a sign that I am meant to read this book. I started reading it. I've never read a book this long, except for maybe like Harry Potter back in middle school. I read that book. It took me 7 hours and 37 minutes or something like that. I read it cover to cover nonstop. I was in a very feared part of my life. I had just started this business. I was let go when I started this business, so I did not plan financially to be, Feng Shui has always been my passion. It's always been my like what brings me joy. And I always knew I would be a Feng Shui consultant one day, but I did not take the leap. The universe kind of pushed me into it. But when you Feng Shui, life becomes more serendipitous. And this is exactly how these things unfold. It does not always look, oh, this is a perfect segue. Oh my gosh, I'm just so in flow. This is a perfect segue. Yes. Let me read this. I don't even know if I finished my thought, but I read that the book. I read it. I was in a very fearful state, wondering if I was going to make it, wondering if enough money would come in for me to sustain Dallas rent. Dallas rent is not as much as New York and all these other places, but it's a lot when you didn't save money and needed to put it into your business. So it's a wonderful book. I recommend it. Napoleon Hill wrote this one. Here is a little section about when you're feng shuiing, people ask me, what does it show up like? Or when I'm manifesting, what does it show up like? Manifesting is simply setting your intention, setting a desire, and it coming to fruition, and not really knowing how it's going to come to fruition. So it's kind of like having a dream, but it coming to reality. It manifests. So people ask me, how long does it take to feng shui to see results? And it really depends on how big your dream is, your goal is. If it's to find $1, you're probably going to see something pretty quick. If it's to find a husband, might take a minute. You got to go, the energy is to bring you, certain steps. So let me read this section. When this book is about thinking and growing rich, and it's about manifesting in a sense. So he says, when the opportunity came, he's referring to a man who set his intentions to work with Thomas Edison, and he did all of these things to make it happen. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It is a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Feng Shui sends your intention out. You adjust your space. You start using your space differently. You start using the energy in your home differently. And energy is going to do what it wants to do. The universe says message received. And I do not know if you will get a promotion the next day, if you'll end up having to change jobs. We don't know how it's going to unfold, but what you want will come to fruition. And like this book says, but it might come disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. When I moved into my new home in Dallas, I had just mentioned to you guys that it took me 5 years to get out, and all these bad things had to happen for me to actually take a leap and move. When I moved into my new home, about a month later, I got let go because of COVID, but I was not the likely candidate to get let go. I don't know who is the likely candidate. I think everything happens for a reason. So even though I was fifth best salesperson, youngest person in the company, just got the top 2 accounts, crushing it, I somehow was let go, totally blindsided. And But there was no what's the coincidence? I thought, "But I just moved into this apartment, and so all of this feng shui is different. All of the energy in this space is different, so there's obviously a lesson here." So I was upset about an hour, and then I thought, "What am I supposed to take from this? What am I supposed to learn from this?" And I clearly was like, well, when I was 23, I wanted to be a feng shui consultant. And I thought, no, I need to make some more money, pay off more loans, and then I can be. I had just paid off my loans. I wanted to pay off my college loans before 30. I did it on my 29th birthday. Uh, Five-figure loans. My first paycheck was barely half of what, or was a little more than half of what my loans amounted to. So I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get this done before I'm 30 at this rate, but it's going to happen because I want it to happen. So I had just paid off those loans not too long before, and I thought, all right, well, I guess I said 5 years, 5 years before that, that after I pay off my loans, I'll be a feng shui consultant. Got let go. It's all set up. I was like, okay, I guess it's just written. But it looks like misfortune. It looks like temporary defeat, right? I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this. I've been doing it for 8 years, but for friends and family. And so don't always look at these after you feng shui, something's going to happen. And if it is you get in a fender bender, if it is a shelf falls off the wall, I don't know, if it's these little misfortunes or little accidents, there's a reason for it all. I had a client who wanted to feng shui for a relationship and also for more business. He got asked to go on jury duty, but it was kind of a weird time and he just wasn't really feeling up to it, so he didn't go. But let me tell you guys, and I told him this, if something like that happens, you've never been asked to jury duty before, you feng shui and you're asked to go to jury duty, you're supposed to meet somebody on that jury. You're supposed to meet somebody that day. There's a Real Housewife of Miami who she met her husband. She was a juror. He was a big, big lawyer. And that's how they met. So when things like this unfold after you feng shui, if you, yeah, it might be wrapped in misfortune. It might be wrapped in a temporary defeat, but it is happening for a reason. And energy is just recalibrating and reshifting and sending you where you need to go and sending you who you need to meet. And so every day, look at all of these little things as opportunities, as, oh, I don't know why I was supposed to bump into that person, but I wonder if we'll meet again. There's always a meaning behind everything. So I loved how Napoleon Hill put it. And yeah, perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity, because they think opportunity is going to look like this shiny, obvious choice, this shiny, obvious route. And it rarely ever is. Rarely the things that are just fall into place are like it's usually wrapped in this in a debacle. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for being spontaneous with me. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you are alerted for when that bookshelf video comes out. I'm very excited. Next week, it's really good. I'm staring at them right now. The outcome's really good. And again, I show you my clients' examples. So there's a few different ways we look at bookshelves. Comment below what questions you have for Christina Browning. Comment below which environment you are. And like this video if you enjoyed it, even just a little bit. Maybe I need to just do them spontaneously more often. So thank you so much for being spontaneous with me, and I will talk to you guys soon.